everyone doing? This is Josh Rubin from East West Healing and Performance. I'm actually done preparing. I'm going out this weekend to speak at the Body and Mind Convention, doing 3 talks. So I'm just in my office today getting things organized, and I figured I'd get another YouTube clip out before the weekend. Today's YouTube clip is on ADHD. This is running rampant all over the world, not only in the United States, but all over the world. We have all these young kids, they can't pay attention, they can't concentrate, they're hyperactive, and they're being labeled, which isn't good in itself, because once you label something or someone subconsciously, then your entire life, unless you deal with it, you consider yourself being ADHD, and you can always use that as a scapegoat. So we're not going to go into the emotional side of it. Maybe that will be another YouTube clip, but we're going to post on the physical side of it. So keep in mind some of the stuff we go over. Of course, there's more to treating an individual than just diet and supplements. There's a huge emotional component. So take everything that I say today with a grain of salt, okay? There was a new research study, if you search on PubMed, and it was done by a bunch of people in the Slovak Republic, so I can't pronounce their names, okay? But it was on PubMed, and it was basically a 30-day study done with males and females, young children, in ADHD. And they tested their urine, they tested their chemistry, physiology, and all that. What they found is that these kids actually had high levels of catecholamines, which is like norepinephrine and epinephrine. And they found that in their urine, they actually produced a lot of excess catecholamines, more so dopamine. Okay, there was a lot of dopamine excretion in their urine. So this study was done with pine bark extract, which is called pycnogenol. Okay. So they showed after doing this for 30 days and giving the kids either a placebo, of course, or the recommended dose of the pycnogenol, that over a 30-day period, that their hyperactivity actually decreased and the concentration increased, and they showed this by using certain tests, objective tests and things like that. But they also showed that the amount of catecholamines in their physiology and the amount of dopamine in their urine actually decreased significantly. Okay, what does this tell us? It's research. I'm not a big fan of research because we don't know these kids' emotional well-being. We don't know how these kids ate prior to the study. We don't know what was going on the day with the study. We don't know the health of the parents that actually produced these kids. We don't know the state of upbringing these kids are being brought up in, if it was wealthy, if it was a poor home. There's too many factors that I feel can influence a study that they don't look into. But it's just one more thing to help people that are looking for a safe alternative, okay? So we're finding that there's certain things, natural things, that can help ADHD. We treat kids with ADHD all the time. I can tell you that, getting rid of medications, we don't tell parents to go off take their kids off the medications, because a lot of these medications in kids, now some of the ones nowadays, actually cause addiction, make their ADHD worse, and actually has caused suicide. So what we do is actually we do a lot of nutrition and lifestyle principles. First thing we do is eliminate any and all sugars in the children's diet. A sugar is a sugar is a sugar. Anything that ends in OSE. So initially, for the first 30 to 90 days, it's challenging with children, but we eliminate all sugar. That's anything boxed, canned, that has a shelf life, that has sugar in it, that has any additives and preservatives. We also eliminate a lot in grains, things like that, because those are sugars. Okay, so we eliminate these for 90 days. These influxes in sugar in the body can actually cause hyperactivity, and we know that. But then it can cause a crash or a fall, and that's when these kids get very anxious and very irritable. Okay, so eliminate all sugar for 30 days, to 30 to 90 days. At the same time, sugar, if you look at all these diseases nowadays in these young kids, sugar actually inhibits your immune system for up to 4 hours. So 1 teaspoon inhibits your immune system for 4 hours. The average can of soda has 17 teaspoons. Okay, you do the math on that. Number 3, sugar in itself can actually burn out the adrenal glands. And they showed through research that kids that have ADHD typically start out in stage 1 of adrenal fatigue, which is high cortisol levels, which is correlated with depression. And then in the end, when they go towards stage 2 and 3, they actually have chronic fatigue, anxiety, and irritability. And that's correlated with chronic fatigue syndrome as well. But sugar itself can burn out the adrenal glands. So it's going to be helpful in many aspects to eliminate sugar. Okay. Third thing we do is increase the amount of protein and fat the child's eating. Fats it sedates the nervous system and insulates the nervous system. You have a saran wrap around your nerves, and the saran wrap is proteolipid. It's protein and fat. So it's very sedating, and it insulates the nervous system. And from a Chinese perspective, it can it pulls and grounds down the person. So we increase their protein and fat intake. Very beneficial for someone with ADHD. Third thing we do is we recommend putting the child on anywhere from 2,000 to 4,000 milligrams of cod liver oil, okay, which is a fat, balances out the omega-3 to 6 ratio. Too many omega-6s in one's diet from conventional grains, conventional meats, which are fed conventional and GMO grains, can actually cause excess inflammation in the body. So we always recommend cod liver oil, fish oil. Cod liver oil has vitamin A and D. Cod liver oil just has vitamin A. I'm sorry. Fish oil just has vitamin A. Cod liver oil just has vitamin A and D in it. So it just depends where you live and what you're interested in putting in your child's body. Okay. Fourth thing is we actually recommend the pycnogenol, which we're actually going to start recommending. We want to try it to see if it actually helps. Sometimes it's hard to find because the recommended dosage they're actually recommending for a child is 36 milligrams for like a 75 to 80 pound child. Okay, that's a lot. So there's a company called Biotics. Okay, we sell Biotics products. Biotics Research. You can't really buy them. You have to be a licensed practitioner. So if you can find someone online that can sell them to you, or you're welcome to give us a call. They actually have a product called Bio-cyanidins. It's Bio-cyanidins. That actually has the recommended dosage per cap. So you can actually get that at Biotics, and you can actually put that into their protocol. Okay. The key here is getting children emotionally stable. That's a whole nother side of it. But at the same time, it's feeding our kids foods that are actually from the earth, that are actually going to put energy in their bank account and not withdraw energy. Most kids nowadays, if you see what they're eating, everything they're eating is wrapped in plastic. It's denatured. It's dead. It comes in a box. It comes in a can. You can microwave it. So there's really no nutritional value. And if you read the ingredients on any of these products, they're all chemicals. Now think about it. If you're feeding a kid that has an undeveloped brain and nervous system and digestive system that's actually still developing, they're still growing and maturing, and you're feeding a child chemicals, and your child has ADHD, and you're wondering why, well, it's because you're feeding them chemicals, you're feeding them sugar, and you're working all the time, and you're giving them TV dinners, and you're not giving them a lot of love at home. So a lot of the time, the proof is in the pudding. Now, a lot of people say ADHD is genetic, and blah, 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 blah. Well, my question is, where did it start? Maybe the mother ate too much sugar. Maybe the mother was highly stressed. Maybe the mother ate a lot of dead conventional foods that were boxed and canned. Well, what you eat affects your body, feeds your baby, and produces your body. So, of course, you're going to pass it along. Okay? So, the protocol is important. The cod liver oil, the pycnogenol, that's super important. But if you just do those two alone, all you're doing is taking a natural, holistic approach, and you're making it equal to a prescription medication. You're not changing any nutrition and lifestyle factors that are going to benefit the child. So we always recommend most parents that have ADHD children work all the time. They're not home. Their kids are not playing. They're playing on the computer, or they're playing the Wii. They're not playing outside like we used to do when we were kids. And their parents are never home to nurture them, to love them, to do things with them. They're working all the time to try to keep up with the Joneses. So that's a huge facet. And then the nutrition and lifestyle is gigantic, and we, could talk for hours on that. But my biggest recommendation is the sugar of any kind, and eliminating dead foods that are box canned and have a shelf life, and giving your child foods that are actually living. So hopefully you've learned something beneficial today. I'm sure what I talk about you already know, but it's here to just kind of put some insight to light the fire under your ass. So hope all is well. Have a great day, and I'll see you next week.